What's up, guys? Welcome to Chasing Projects. I'm Jeff, and this is your SoCal fishing forecast for Thursday, September 14th. Quick look at our weather here. Nice little 10-day picture. Pretty consistent coming along the coast here. 72 degrees, morning clouds, and could be a little drizzly. We'll see what happens offshore. A little bit of wind going on. Let's fire this bad boy up here. But typical wind pattern Thursday, Friday here as we come into it's what I call the fourth quarter of the fishing season into September here. Days are getting shorter. Friday's looking pretty nice overall. 10 to 15 knots at the most. Saturday starts off just fine if you're looking to stay west. And then as we get into Saturday evening, as wind starts ripping up here, and it's going to carry on into Sunday, seeing 20 knots, maybe see some gusts up there higher. Just kind of depends. Still 4 days out here, but overall, it looks like that heavy wind trend is going to hold through Monday, which tells me it's pretty much likely to hang around until then. So, looking like that's probably going to happen as it's showing here, but we'll see what happens when we're out there on the water. So with the wind comes some waves, and as you mentioned, Saturday night, 10 to 15 gusts to 20, wind waves 4 foot, mixed swell northwest 3 feet, and south swell not worried about. But it's these wind waves of 4 feet on Saturday, and this stuff's gonna linger over into Sunday. West swell 3 feet at 6 seconds, so that's gonna suck if you're on a private boat. Staying west. So you probably won't see it as much on the inside here. Let me go back to my chart. If you're staying inside here, you're not really going to see it. You're not really going to be in the zone as much of the swell pattern. So we'll see what happens. But if you're going to head to Tanner or Cortez, be prepared. You might have to bail out early on Sunday. But here we are. So here is our 7-day chart here. This orange water is 72 degrees, and generally speaking, we got warm water staying down south, so I think the water temps are going to hold up here for at least for a little while. Even with that wind, shouldn't tear it up. If anything, it's going to bring this cooler water a little bit more east here and kind of line up more on the banks and in the shadow of the Channel Islands, but we'll see what it looks like. But 3-day, it looks pretty much the same, so not a whole lot of changes here. And let's flip back to our chlorophyll chart, probably the most interesting thing we got going on here. If you haven't noticed, we've had quite a lot of bioluminescence along the shore here with some red tide. Just depends on where you are. Again, this is the 8-day chart, so I don't think it's as dense as what this is showing. There's definitely red tide out there, especially in North Orange County. If we flip back to let's say like a 3-day, it's a little bit more tame. Not so much orange here on the coast that you can see here, but the orange is really the red tide. The green water is just the green chlorophyll water. But we use the 8-day just to kind of give us an idea of where most of the green water is here with a better picture here. But again, I think this is all kind of lightening up as it's gone on for the last couple of days here. But saw some cool videos of dolphins swimming in bioluminescence, look like glowing torpedoes. Pretty sick. So yeah, we got that going on. Channel Islands, man. Still got a little sprinkle of sea bass up this way. Still coming on the fluke white swim baits. Not a whole lot of action this week, really, because the weather's been blowing, so not a whole lot of people targeting that much up there. We still have a little spot of bluefin on the ridge here underneath the islands, so still pretty good fishing coming up this way. Just you got to get the proper weather window here. Hopefully, as we start into October, which is usually my favorite month to go fishing, we get that winter wind pattern where you really don't see winds more than 10 knots even offshore. So those things kind of dry up, and we get some good fishing in before it starts getting chilly. Moving south, Catalina. Really not much coming from this island all year. Same story as usual. Barracuda bass meal all around the island, pretty easy to find. No signs of real pelagic species. No real sea bass to be around. No yellowtail around. not saying you can't find one, but your chances are pretty slim. And coming back to Santa Barbara and San Nick Island, no one's really putting a lot of work into island fishing here. We've got pretty good offshore fishing going on right now, so generally speaking, no one's really looking at these islands, so I'm not having any really good information to give you. You might be able to find some yellows, maybe at Santa Barbara in the kelp, maybe a lingering sea bass, but we're getting pretty late for that. But oh yeah, I almost forgot to mention marlin tournament last week. Guys are catching plenty of striped marlin up here on the same ridge that you're seeing the bluefin. And also there's been some good swordfish going on up here too as well. Mainly the commercial guys have been fishing this stuff, but if you really focus on trying to catch one, you got a good chance up here. At least the last 3 weeks, there's been a pretty good sign. Coming back down south, San Clemente Island, same story. Bring your club for your seals and a fly hat. And yeah, there's still some yellowtail around on the island, just getting all these things to cooperate. Good, clean, current water, fish to be found, no seals, no flies. It's a tough combination, but it can happen. Front side, really on the south side of the front side, and again down here at the east end, still a little bit of this stuff around. And then covering the Coronado Islands, despite the green water, I did see or hear about a couple yellowtail that were caught today. South Island, they were like on the smaller size, probably like 10-pounders, some weren't huge, but hey, an encouraging sign for the Coronado Islands, so I'll leave it at that. All right, back to the offshore talk. Although most people are not coming out here and looking at the stuff out here, I do like the way it's setting up here. The Tanner and Cortez got fished the last couple days. Some of that 50-pound bluefin have moved back into the high spots around Tanner and Cortez. And there's still some really good yellowtail fishing here on the high spots as well, if you can stick around and find them on the right spot. They're definitely around here, like 25-pound yellows, so pretty good fishing out there. Usually the typical summertime stuff. So yeah, that could be a good option before the wind. 7-Eleven, Osborne, $4.99. The escarpment. I don't know of anybody that's been fishing it the last couple days, but just getting into this 3-day chart on the chlorophyll. I like how this line is lining up here, and there's a temp break to go right there with it. So I wouldn't mind looking at the cherry banks again, right in this section. I think that's got a good possibility of popping off. Like I said, I don't know anybody who's been out here fishing it, at least the cherry banks the last couple of days, but I would be very interested in checking out the 7-Eleven and the cherry banks. And then if you don't see any signs of bigger fish, then you could always fish Tanner and Cortez, but I think this stuff is definitely worth a look on this outer line here. Coming back east, we'll start under Clemente. Again, we have this nice green edge of water here. There's been bluefin lined up right on the bottom side of Clemente and along the back side, and a little bit on the northwest corner here. This stuff down here has been the 50 to 80 pound stuff. The Tribute has been fishing here the last couple days or so. They've had some pretty good luck in here as well. There's a ton of boats on this side fishing this stuff along the coast here. And that's going to be the next area I'm really going to talk about. And when I mean a ton of boats, I'm talking a lot of boats, especially Sunday, Monday, Tuesday this week. It was just ridiculous if you would have saw the AIS. But we'll call it from San Onofre to the point at La Jolla, mainly up to Escondido, but particularly these two grid lines. There's been an overwhelming amount of sport boat traffic, and also skiffs because it's close to home here. Good mix of bluefin, yellowfin, some dorado, and a very, very tiny sprinkle of yellows, and occasional skipjack in the really, really warm water. Seen a couple of those pop up. But these aren't huge fish, the 25 to 40-pound fish, really. They're in the dirty water. They're biting fly line really good, 25, 30-pound. So all really daytime fishing, a lot of foamers. If you don't know, aside from doing these forecasts, we have a lovely, very lovely store with fishing tackle focused on Southern California. So for some of this foamer fishing, these feed poppers work really good. These are 175 millimeter size. We also sell them in the 150 millimeter size, a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter. I personally like the 175 size. They weigh a little bit more. You can cast them a little further. And we also have a more heavy duty version of a clear popper. It's a little bit more heavy, I'd say, but probably about 20% more heavier than the traditional feed popper. It works good as well. For trying to find some of those yellowfin pulling, short daisy chains, like the tuna tidbit is a nice little lure you can drag behind the boat. Also, this Carolina skimmer actually is a lure I really want to try. I got a couple in stock here, but they basically just skip along the surface. It's got a weighted head, little wings, and a short skirt, so it kind of looks like a flying fish, just like skimming along the surface here. It looks really good, and it's relatively inexpensive too. So that's another lure we're dragging behind the boat. And then if you really want to focus on the Dorado, mahi morsel lure, especially orange color, I think works really, really well as well. For some more of that topwater action, if you don't want to throw a popper, the Nomad Riptide is a really good stick bait too. You can work those things pretty good. They got enough weight to them to cast them out. And then we also have the tuna tidbit in the regular size without the daisy chain, just with the lure by itself. So just a little selection of stuff we got. I mean, you can go through all of our stuff here, but we got plenty of stuff in our store for you. But yeah, touching base elsewhere, you have a chance of running into fish anywhere really in this green water section, even behind Catalina. There's a variety of fish out there right now, but we're trying to highlight the areas where there's a ton of volume. So like I said, a lot of fish in this zone, a lot of boats too. So just be mindful of that. You're heading down into Mexican waters. We still have a little bit of this green little line here that's working. Scattered a lot more of this Dorado zone. I would rather say it's more of a Dorado zone than a tuna zone. But in this cleaner water, there seems to be a few more kelps, and people are having a little bit better luck with that. Not really seeing anybody head west to like the Butterfly or East Butterfly. If you're in the area, come by the buoy. Definitely throw a couple lures at that or a fine line of bait. It's usually either Dorado or Yellowtail are always sitting on the buoy, so always worth a good look. And then really much below that, not really getting a lot of info. There's been so much fish close to home that people aren't really driving far, so kind of a lackluster reports in the far zones for the most part. But that's it for this week, guys. I'll be on the water, 2-day trip. Hopefully kind of tear them up good. I got another new camera to test out, so I'm looking forward to that. And then, yeah, see you guys next week. Be safe out there in the water. Have a good weekend, guys. Cheers. Hey, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and check out our website and online store at chasingprojects.com. And make sure you share the stoke.